Okay, hello. So for EDET590 assessment task 1, I chose the subject history. So more specifically, ancient history, ancient Egyptian history for Year 7 class. So the first lesson plan delves into the role of slaves in ancient Egypt and the 3 different types of slaves that existed. So based on the Australian curriculum and my lesson sequencing from lessons 1 to 5, this lesson here being lesson 6, students have already learned about the physical features of ancient Egypt, the key features of society and the roles of the nobility and women, which can be seen here in student prior knowledge. There is one student in the class with a hearing impairment. The teacher therefore needs to ensure that the student is sitting closer to the teacher, that subtitles are always used when watching videos, and the teacher always has their mouth visible to the student when speaking, so she can lip read if need be. And that information can be found here, so catering for diversity, which is on every single lesson sequence. The skills of the students in the classroom vary. So extra work is available to them should they finish their tasks early, and some students are set the homework if they don't finish their tasks on time. So the introduction to the lesson, just on this page here, reflects both the teacher and student-centered models of learning, as the teacher dominates the discussion of the learning intentions, which is here, which requires the passive listening of students. It then moves on to the opening of a class discussion and welcoming questions, which maintains an active student role in the classroom via interaction with others. So the teacher is expected to incorporate collaborative learning with the task of brainstorming with peers. The group task, just down here, which involves researching a specific area of the role of slaves, is required to be presented at the end of the lesson, which can be seen here, followed by a class discussion of the findings. This will help the student to develop their knowledge of the topic, enable the exchange of ideas, and encourage effective communication skills through teacher moderation. So moving on to the second lesson. The second lesson is based on the curriculum content descriptor significant, just on the bottom right, significant beliefs, values and practices of the ancient Egyptians with a particular emphasis on death and funerary customs. This descriptor has been split into 2 lessons, so lessons 2 and 3, because it is quite a large topic, with the first focusing on the significant beliefs and values of ancient Egyptian religion. The learning intentions highlight the main topics of the lesson, including religion, the belief in the afterlife and underworld, polytheism, and the gods. These learning intentions, just here, are quite specific, which allows the students to understand the purpose of the lesson more clearly. The opening activity, on this page here, presents a visual learning aid for the students, which aims to attract their attention and evoke curiosity. So that is through using Google Images and searching ancient Egyptian tombs. It also encourages class discussion regarding what the images represent. The development stage of the learning sequence encourages further class discussion. And the fact-finding worksheet activity encourages collaborative learning. The teacher uses a directed questioning approach to this task, which aims to focus a question, create a problem to be solved, and attract student attention to the task at hand. The teacher can undertake a formative assessment of student learning, which is just this 3rd column here. And this is through listening to student responses to the posed questions. The students can undertake assessment as learning through answering the questions on the worksheet and listening to other answers, thus allowing them to measure their own learning. The lesson closes with a Kahoot quiz, which is enjoyable and interactive for students, whilst also being beneficial for their learning. So it's an effective measure. Moving on to lesson plan 3. So the third lesson sequence is based on the burial practices of the ancient Egyptians and more specifically the mummification process. So just branching off of that content descriptor. The learning intentions are concise and can be easily understood by the students. The teacher starts the lesson, just down here, by using the teaching strategy of direct instruction. This is seen through the teacher reading the learning intentions and success criteria to the students and instructing the students to visit a particular website to undertake individual work. This will allow the students to reinforce their understanding through independent practice. The use of the virtual tour of the museum in Egypt was specifically chosen for the lesson introduction to capture student attention. So as you'll see, this activity was completed before the learning intentions were even mentioned. The use of this website will also aim to improve student ICT skills. The use of YouTube videos in this lesson and the previous lessons is an effective way of attracting student attention through visual aid and sounds. The mummification process puzzle card, just down here, is a collaborative and interactive activity which gets the students independently involved with the problem-solving processes. The use of ICT is extensive throughout the 3 lesson plans. The plans have encouraged the use of a broad range of technological programs such as PowerPoint, Google Docs, Prezi, YouTube, Google Images, and independent websites. And these were all mainly used either to teach the content or for students to undertake their research tasks. So this will ensure that the students get a varied understanding of technology. The overall aim of all 3 lessons is to encourage collaborative, meaningful, and enjoyable learning through a variety of learning activities, instructions. So just down here is the appendix with the activities that were used. So appendix 1, this was for learning sequence 1. Appendix 2, this is the fact-finding worksheet with the questions, and then the mummification process puzzle cards. Thank you for listening.